Welcome back to Cine Snap, where every frame tells a story. Today, I am going to explain this thriller crime movie called Girl in the Basement. The story begins with our protagonist, Sarah, and her father, Don, rushing baby Mary to the hospital because she is having trouble breathing. Sarah panics when Mary stops breathing and urges Don to drive faster. When they arrive, Don instructs Sarah to remain silent. The paramedics rush in, administer oxygen, and attempt to save Marie. But all they get is a flat line on the monitor. We then go back 20 years to a seemingly idyllic family dinner. Sarah and her sister Amy are eating with their parents, Dawn and Irene. The mood shifts when Dawn shows his oppressive side. He forbids Sarah from attending a party, asserting dominance over the family. That night, Sarah sneaks out with her boyfriend Chris. Her parents later discover her empty room, and Dawn dismissively refers to her as a problem. At the party, Sarah dances with Chris, who serenades her with a song he wrote. They express their love and share a kiss. When Sarah returns home in the morning, Dawn has been waiting all night. They argue, and Sarah vows as soon as she turns 18, she'll leave the family for good. She confides in her mother and sister about plans to travel while working independently. Don overhears and retreats to the basement, where he reveals a secret room hidden behind a bookshelf. 3 months later, Sarah graduates. During a discussion with her mom, it's revealed that Dawn has been spending increasing amounts of time in the basement man cave. When Irene leaves, Dawn tricks Sarah into the basement under the guise of moving a box. Once inside, he leads her to the secret room, claiming it's a bomb shelter built by the previous homeowner, and locks her in. Sarah screams in panic, but the soundproof room muffles her cries. Worried and unable to locate Sarah, Irene calls the police on the fourth day. That day, Dawn visits Sarah and coldly outlines the terms of her captivity. She must earn everything, including fresh, ventilated air. Later, a policeman visits the home, believing Sarah likely ran off on her planned cross-country trip. Irene refuses to accept this. Sarah would never leave without goodbye before her 18th birthday. Alone and terrified, Sarah clings to memories of the night with Chris. Days pass and Chris visits the house. Dawn lies, telling him Sarah fled with a childhood neighbor, Steve. On day 21 of captivity, Sarah turns 18. Dawn visits with a cake and a red nightgown. When Sarah requests a clock, he says she must do something for him first. She refuses and is beaten. Almost a year into captivity, Sarah secretly becomes pregnant and her water breaks alone in the basement. She gives birth to a daughter, Marie. 4 years later, Sarah is pregnant again. Dawn is leading a double life, one upstairs with Irene and Amy, another in the basement with Sarah and Marie. Irene, desperate and worried, wants to hire a private investigator, but Dawn forbids it. As a twisted reward, he brings a TV to the basement for Sarah and Marie. Later, Sarah gives birth to a son, Michael. Each night, she weaves her terrifying reality into bedtime stories full of princesses to shield her children. Chris returns again, inquiring after Sarah. Amy finally reveals Dawn's lies and recounts how cruel Dawn has always been, fearing the worst, that he may have killed Sarah. To pass the time, Sarah creates imaginary adventures for her children. Meanwhile, Irene and Amy confront Dawn upstairs. In the ensuing fight, Irene vows to do everything to find Sarah. Dawn drops his keys, Amy grabs them, and heads for the basement, searching for clues. Dawn catches her, regains the keys, and Amy fights him, tears flowing, blaming him for Sarah's disappearance. Time moves on. Sarah bears another son, Thomas. Calm and composed, she convinces Dawn to take Thomas upstairs, arguing there's no space in the basement. Thomas is left on the porch for Irene along with a heartfelt note reportedly from Sarah. The baby is Irene's to raise because Sarah can't support another child. Another note pleads for help. Dawn finds the baby and assaults Sarah again. Years pass. The children bring their mother's bedtime stories to life through vivid imagination. Sarah has now been in the basement for 14 years. Marie, now a young girl, experiments with makeup. Dawn shows interest in her, but Sarah pleads with him to leave her daughter alone. In retaliation, he shuts off power and clean air. Gasping for breath, Marie admits she has no friends and fears she'll never leave. We realize she doesn't know Dawn is both her grandfather and father. Thomas later finds Irene weeping in Sarah's old room, missing her. Irene comforts him, praising Sarah's strength. Meanwhile, raindrops seep into the basement. Sarah crawls up through the damp ceiling with a spoon and flashes a distress signal. A neighbor notices, tells Dawn, but he ignores her, instead returning to be Sarah. She's pregnant again, and the assault causes her to lose the baby, and Dawn buries the stillborn in the yard. In the basement, Dawn scolds Sarah, praising Thomas's athletic strength. Marie and Michael ask when they can go outside. Dawn blames Sarah's bad behavior for their captivity. Overwhelmed, Sarah snaps, destroying furniture during a rage. Exhausted, she collapses, reminiscing about happier times with Chris. Her children cover her with a blanket and tidy the room. Tearfully, she tells them they are old enough for the truth. Dawn, the man upstairs, is both their father and her father. Marie has a severe asthma attack upon learning the truth. The children panic, but Sarah reassures them. She loves them and Dawn is at fault. A year later, Dawn insults Sarah's disappearance during an argument with Michael. Food becomes rationed in the basement. Dawn loses his job and faces foreclosure. He attempts to suffocate them using car exhaust introduced into the vent, but Thomas intervenes in the garage, unintentionally preventing disaster. While upstairs, the rest of the family enjoys a barbecue. Marie once again struggles to breathe. Dawn refuses hostile aid. Sarah begs, and Dawn agrees on the condition she keeps silent. Michael is left behind while 20 years of captivity pass. We returned to the opening scene. Marie is rushed to the hospital. Sarah is petrified but relieved when doctors save her. When asked about medical history, they learn Marie was homeschooled and given only natural remedies. Sarah scans the hospital, desperate for a chance to escape. She spills water onto medical forms, separating from Dawn just before. She reaches a nurse, quietly begging for help as a police officer confronts Dawn. Police arrest him. Sarah announces to Marie, "We are safe and free." The police flood the house and rescue Michael. Irene and Thomas are stunned as Michael gasps for air while being carried out of the basement. Dawn watches it all from the back of a police vehicle. On a warm summer day, Marie, Thomas, and Michael play in the countryside while Sarah, Irene, and Amy watch from the porch. Marie spots a figure approaching on a motorcycle. It's Chris. He arrives alongside Sarah. He apologizes for not doing more to find her and believing Dawn's lies. Presenting a gift, a pink motorcycle helmet he bought her at 18. They embrace. Finally together, they ride off on their long-awaited journey. Thanks for watching the Cine Snap review. If you loved this video, go ahead and like, share, and let me know your take in the comments. What resonated with you or what you'd like to see next. And if you're as passionate about movies as we are, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you never miss a scene.